Hey, what's going on, G-Ballers? I have a new knife here to unbox for you, coming in from Kizer, and this is going to be out of their Bladesmith series. We're going to see if Jonathan Styles can strike again. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome to GBall Vision. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what your EDC is. This is going to be called the Topsail, and I actually know nothing about this knife. I haven't looked anything up on it. I don't even know what it looks like. I did see on the side of the box that it was going to be coming in S45VN, but that was about the most that I saw on this guy. Wow, look at that. So we have a Damascus insert there, and that is beautiful. I believe that is a Damascus. I will correct myself here if I'm wrong, but we have a full titanium handle. We have a Damascus backspacer and another inlay of Damascus on that lock bar side. Beautiful looking knife right here. So we are going to be looking at S45VN. We have the Jonathan Styles cutout here. I call it the Superman cutout. And then we are going to be looking at S45VN for the blade steel. And I believe this is going to have their Ultra DLC finish. And then we have a front flipper as well for the deployment. As far as Kizer and the action that you're going to get from their knives, they have them dialed in, and they've done a great job for a long time. As far as the detent on this guy, it is going to be your prototypical Kizer action. Nice strong detent. And then we have a smooth closing action here. It needs a little bit of break in there on the close. You can kind of see it has a little bit of hesitation, but that is just a little bit of break in right there. We have a nice 50-50 choil, and that'll give you some nice sharpening life there out of the knife as well. I like the layout of this. I might like this actually better than the Militol. And I almost bet if this is really popular, we will see some budget versions of this knife, similar to the Militol. They kind of put out a middle of the road price on a Militol initially, and then that did extremely well. And after that, they put out a bunch of different variations of the Militol. And if this is really popular, this will be the same way. It's not a huge knife, but it's not a small knife either. I'm going to be looking at about 7 1/8 overall. Cutting edge is going to come in at 2 7/8. And then we have 3 3/16 of total blade. First up, for some comparisons, we have the Vosteed Raccoon up top and the Kizer Militol on the bottom. And two more, we have the Kizer Drop Bear up top and the Benchmade Bug Out there on the bottom. And this is going to sit somewhere in between both of those. Our 50 ways baked in GBall Vision Hank out here, and we'll get a look at this pocket clip. Milled titanium. It is going to be a single Torx, and it is slightly recessed there. We'll have a little bit poking out of the pocket. That is something I prefer right there. I would say that's almost the perfect amount. Gives you a good index on the knife and allows you the ability to easily get it out of the pocket. It is going to be right hand carry only. This is a smooth looking design here. We'll switch gears here and we'll get the arch nemesis off the shelf. We're going to give the Topsail a weight check. I like to guess the weight here for fun on the channel of new knives that come in, and I invite you to play along. Let me know down in the comments what you think this knife weighs in at here. Even if you already have a comment, don't worry about it. Even if you already have a comment or two down there, go ahead and guess your little heart out. I'm going to give it a go here. I'm going to say that we do have internal pockets in there milled out for weight relief on the show side. It's got some heft to it for its size. I'm going to say, is it like a 3.7? 3.8. Oh! 3.5 and 100 grams. A couple of measurements here on the handle and blade. Our handle thickness, we're going to be looking at 0.47 along with 12 millimeters on the nose. We'll go to the blade stock here. We have 2.9 on the blade stock, 116 thousandths. Behind the edge thickness, we'll just pick a random spot here. And we're pretty high. We'll pick a random spot here, coming in at 20 thousandths behind the edge. Let's see how the Topsail cuts out of the box. Get some magazine paper out here, and if you didn't notice, that blade is actually canted downward. So that's just going to allow this to be even more utility driven, and it's going to be a lot more comfortable if you are using it in such ways. Really good design for daily use. See what kind of edge we have here. Yeah. Really nice. And S45VN is a great steel, in my opinion. I wasn't, as the new steels have come out over the years, I'm not real quick to jump on a lot of new steels. I wasn't quick on MagnaCut, wasn't quick on S45. I kind of just, jump into them very slowly. But as I have experienced more and more S45, I have become a big fan of it. And, I am a huge fan of S30, S35. I love S90 as well. S45, it depends on what you're looking for. Everyone is going to be different. Some people are purely looking for edge retention. I tend to view things more of an all-around perspective. You know what I mean? But I get it in all cases. Sometimes I want something that's real thin and slicey and has an insanely good edge retention. But other times I might want something that's very corrosion resistant because I'm doing this or going there. So there's all kinds of different applications. So it is really going to be up to the end user. But in regards to an all-around performer, I really like S45VN. It's a very wholesome steel for EDC, and this is a beautiful looking design. Let's go ahead and get our off-grid driver out here. We'll do a hardware check. We have T8 on the pivot there. We have T8 on the pocket clip, and then T8 on our inlay screw. And you can see we have a non-tooled pivot there. Looks very, very clean. I wonder, well, that still looks good. I was going to say could have went with a non-tooled because we have nothing really going on over here. Could have went with a non-tooled screw head here and just used the tool head side for that side. That would have even looked a little bit cleaner and shouldn't have added any cost to do that. That does look really good though. This is a good looking knife. We do have good access there to the lock bar, a big chamfer, beautiful looking knife right here. We have our lock bar relief cut there internally done, so that's going to add to the aesthetics on the back side there. Very nice, and you could even say that helps with ergonomics for some people, because if it's on the outside of the handle, you're going to be more exposed to those angles and edges. So that is a nice touch for ergonomics and aesthetics. Let's go ahead and run a couple of checks here. We are perfectly centered up after all that fooling around. The detent is very nice and strong, breaking in as we keep flicking it here. The cutout works just like the Militol, Mini Militol series. Very good. And that front flipper is a little bit different design. It is not very high in comparison to the top of the frame. And that's something that I typically look for because that lends itself to be a very easy front flipper. And that is not the only way to do it, because this one here is done really well. You can see how far it is from the center of the knife as well. It's very low, it's very far away, and you might think that's not going to be a very good front flipper, but the way it's jimped, the way it's rounded, it just works really, really well for front flipping. So there are other designs out there that work well for front flipping, and I would say in a lot of cases, these are typically done not in a good way. This is really well done right here. So you'll be able to front flip your little heart out on this guy. And because that inlay is over top most of the lock bar, you'll be able to easily come over the top if you're any good at it, which I'm not the best at the over the top. I can do it, but not the greatest. I really like the index rollover for front flippers. That's, you know, because you can pull the knife out of your pocket, flip it around, and boom, right into the grip, baby. I love that. Anyway, front flipper is designed really nicely. Detent is tuned perfectly. So all the deployment options are solid on this guy. We'll get the spine whacker out here and see what this lock is made of. We have a pretty good lock up there, I noticed, about 40% or so. And we don't typically have any issues out of any Kizer knives. I have seen a few things where some people have had an issue or another with some various knives and whatnot here recently. So it's something that's going to slip through. As long as it's not a widespread issue across the design, then, you know, there are going to always be cases where something probably slips through. It's just going to happen on the scale that, you know, these knives are produced. So we're going to give this one a check. We'll start out towards the tip there and we'll go lightly and work our way in. A couple of light ones just to get us going and make sure it's going to hold up there. Close it and check it. There's no movement in there. And a nice solid triple tap. Close it and check it. And a couple of good shots there. Yeah, it feels good and it sounds good. Yeah, very good. We'll run this through a couple of checks here, make sure everything is working as it should. It's still centered. Detent still on point. Very good. Closing action, breaking in, as I said. Now, something that some of you may be wondering about is the DLC. I've tested a bunch of DLC from various companies with various things, you know, screw heads, nail heads, all kinds of stuff. And a lot of them, you know, work really well. They'll mark up and then you basically can just wipe it off. Now, I haven't tested, it's been a while since we've tested any DLC. Let's see here. Get a little bit of oil on here and see if we can get that to go away. But DLC is supposed to be a very tough coating. It looks like that is hanging around. So I'm not 100% sure. It's a matte DLC Ultra Finish is what they're saying. So not 100% sure why that is hanging around. Because the entire blade would be a DLC. It's not just, you know, this primary blade. Everything would be DLC. So kind of interesting, right? No? It almost looks like it's going right into it. Now, that going through, it's a matte, so there's no, it's not polished, so it's not like it's going through the polish. That's interesting. It's like getting marked up there. So that's interesting. I wonder what the answer is as to why that is staying like that. Interesting. Other than that oddity right there, as far as the DLC is concerned, I'm not as studied as some on DLC, but as far as I was aware of, DLC is very scratch resistant, very wear resistant, and it takes a lot to get through. The DLCs that I've tested from Concept, Kizer, Katuo, you know, I've checked a bunch of them, and a lot of them all do very well. So not 100% sure what the scoop is with that and why that is marking and you know, why that is marking so easily, because I didn't really, you know, that's pretty sharp, but I've taken screw heads to certain DLC blades and nothing, you know, nothing happened to it. So interested to find out, if we can, what the deal is with that. Other than that, though, this thing is really sweet. Good steel, good materials. I did look up this particular version, and this one here with the S45 titanium and Damascus is going to come in at $250, which is surprising. I thought this would be $300, you know. I thought this would be around $300 for this knife here. So it's $50 less than I actually thought they were going to put this out for. So that is really cool. I will have links to this knife here down in the description. You'll have to let me know what you think of this knife. They do have a crystallized green version. They have a zirconium version as well. They're all different prices. The zirconium one's down at $200. The crystallized versions are down at like $150, $160. So very solid pricing on these knives. And given the materials and build quality of these, hit that thumbs up button. Greatly appreciate it. If you want to continue to see daily knife and EDC content, make sure you're subscribed. I'll pop up a couple of new videos. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.